Let's talk about one of the most powerful and, honestly, most overlooked elements of design: light. It's this invisible force that can completely change how a space feels. So in the next few minutes, we're going to decode how designers use it and, more importantly, how you can too.
You know, good lighting isn't just about making things bright. Take a look at this room. This is all about creating a mood. The warm, low light, it's creating drama, a sense of intimacy. It's basically inviting you in, telling a story before you've even taken a seat. But then, light can do a complete 180. Here, it's being used to make this room feel open, bright, almost energized. See? It's the exact same tool, light, but with a totally different strategy, you get a completely different feeling. So, think about it. Have you ever walked into a room and it just felt right? You couldn't quite put your finger on why, but the whole vibe was just perfect? Well, I can almost guarantee you were experiencing a really brilliant lighting design. This is really the secret ingredient that designers use. Lighting is what takes a space from being kind of bland and forgettable to a place that feels alive, a place that feels intentional. And today, we are going to decode that secret. So let's start with the absolute basics, the light bulb itself. It turns out every single bulb has two little secret codes on it. And if you understand them, you can control the entire feel of your space.
Okay, code number 1 is something called correlated color temperature, or CCT. It's just a fancy way of saying how warm or cool the light looks. You can forget about watts for a second. Just think of this as the mood dial for your room, and we measure it in a unit called Kelvin.
Now here's the part that's a little weird about the Kelvin scale. It's kind of backwards. The lower the Kelvin number, the warmer and more yellow the light is, like a candle. And the higher the number, the cooler and more blue the light gets, almost like bright daylight.
So how do you actually use this? Well, it's pretty simple. For that relaxing, cozy vibe in living rooms or bedrooms, you're going to want to stick to warm white, somewhere around 3000 K. For places where you really need to see clearly, like a kitchen or bathroom, a neutral cool white around 4000 K is perfect. And for those super high detail tasks, daylight bulbs over 5000 K give you that really intense, focused light.
All right, secret code number 2 is the Color Rendering Index, or CRI. This is all about how accurately a light source shows the true colors of things. I like to think of it as the light's honesty rating. A high CRI means that red apple in your fruit bowl is going to look perfectly red, not kind of dull and washed out. So here's the bottom line. Kelvin sets the mood of your room, from cozy to clinical. And CRI determines the clarity and vibrancy of everything inside it. If you can get these two things right, you are already halfway to a professional-looking space. Okay, so now that we know the language of light, how do we actually use it? Well, professionals don't just stick a single light in the middle of the ceiling and call it a day. No, they think in layers. And this right here is the designer's secret weapon. And it's so beautifully simple. You just build your lighting scheme using 3 different layers: ambient, task, and accent. And each one has a totally different job to do. Let's start with layer 1, ambient light. This is your foundation. It's the general all-over light that lets you walk into a room and just see everything clearly and safely. Think of it as a substitute for natural daylight when the sun goes down. Next up, layer 2, task light. This is your functional hero. It's focused, direct light that's aimed at a specific area where you're doing something, like reading a book, chopping vegetables, or working at your desk. It's a lifesaver for preventing eye strain and just makes everything easier. And finally, we get to layer 3, accent light. Okay, this is the fun part. This is the drama. Accent lighting is all about creating visual interest. You use it to draw the eye to things you want to show off: a cool piece of art, a textured wall, or an amazing architectural feature. I mean, look at how it turns this simple staircase into a piece of sculpture. So you've got the theory, you've got the method. Now let's talk about the actual hardware. What kind of tools do you need to create these awesome layers? Well, first up, the bulb itself. For a long time, halogen was a go-to choice, but just look at this comparison. To get the same brightness as an old 100-watt bulb, a halogen uses 70 watts. An LED? Just 10. And the lifespan? It's not even close. Plus, halogens get super hot, which LEDs just don't do. So yeah, the data makes it pretty clear. It's not even a contest. LEDs are the modern standard for a reason. They use up to 90% less energy and can last over 15 times longer. It's one of the simplest and most impactful upgrades you can make. Okay, lightning round. To create your layers, you've got to match the fixture to the job. So, for that base layer of ambient light, you want to think about flush mounts. They sit close to the ceiling and are perfect for giving you that soft, overall glow. For your task light, you can't go wrong with pendants. They hang down from the ceiling and direct a really focused pool of light right where you need it, like over a kitchen island or your dining table. And for that all-important accent layer, spotlights are your best friend. Their beams are controlled, they're directional, and they're designed for one thing: to point at an object and say, "Hey, look at this." They're the perfect tool for creating that drama. And just like that, you have the theory, the method, and the tools. You now understand light in a way that most people just don't. So now, it's your turn to get out there and actually put it into practice. But hey, before you buy a single bulb, please remember the most important rule of all. Always start with the light you already have. Natural light is your true foundation. Your job isn't to replace it, it's to support it and enhance it. After all, it's the best light source in the world, and it's free. So there you have it, the complete designer's toolkit, the codes, the layers, and the tools. Light is no longer just a switch you flip on or off. It's a medium. It's a tool for storytelling. So the only question left is, how are you going to use it to shape the story of your space?